people and cursed them with a leprous type skin. And they're the people who've done the most amount of wickedness on this earth. They've gone and created absolute havoc and mischief all across this earth. All right, according to the scriptures. All right. So I'm gonna get the scriptures on that. This Satan's wicked. This devil's wicked. All right. Hey, what's up, guys?
How are you?
Hey, pretty good, pretty good. Hey, let me ask you a question. You guys know who Jesus Christ is? Oh, you do? Let me ask you a question real quick. Y'all can get on 5 minutes for the Bible? Now, let me tell you something. America's going to be destroyed by thermonuclear warfare, all right? And the people of this earth, that are the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they're going to rule and reign over the so-called white man, which is the devil, all right? So get ready for slavery, because if it happened to us, it's going to happen to you guys. This is not what he looked like. Damn heathens. Straight up. You know, I hate that. There's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do. What's up, guys?
How are you, sir?
What's up? Pretty good, pretty good. Hey, you guys have 5 minutes for the Bible?
5 minutes for the Bible? I'll give you 5 minutes.
You give me 5 minutes for the Bible? Do you guys even believe in the Bible?
I don't.
Oh, you don't believe in the Bible?
I don't, but go ahead.
Oh, that's cool, that's cool.
Entice me.
Well, let me ask you a question. You guys know somebody called Jesus Christ? You ever heard of that?
Yes.
Right, it's pretty much preached in like every church, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. I'm going to roll this out for you. Have you ever seen that picture before? Minus the horns.
I don't, like probably the photo, yeah.
And photo, right? I mean, never.
Probably without
I see some hippies that look like that too, with long hair and a beard and all that, right?
Without the horns.
Without the horns, without the
the
666.
earrings.
But you get my point. You've seen the guy that looks like this that the world calls so-called Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right. So do you know that the one the world calls Jesus Christ, he's a black man?
I mean, I wouldn't think that he looked like that.
Yeah, not at all. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think that's the case?
Geography?
Geography. That's interesting. That's interesting. So by geography, do you know that the people of that time that were in Jerusalem, right? So we've got, they call it the Middle East. It's really, that's kind of a new term, the Middle East. But for now, we'll say then Jerusalem. At one point in time, they all had melanin. And I'm talking about a little bit like beige or tan. I'm talking about actual pigment. Did you know about that, according to geography?
Okay, so
yeah, we're not even talking about the Bible right now. I didn't even get there. I'm just talking. You brought up geography, so I like to go into that. So based on that, in the actual history books, there was this war, and it was 70 AD, and it's called there's an big arch to commemorate called the Arch of Titus. You ever heard of that before? Yeah, it was Titus, Vespasius, and Domitius. There are these Roman kings and emperors. There was emperors before then, but this is not even the Bible. This is actual Google history. You can Google it. So at that time, they came and they went into Jerusalem and they ransacked it. They killed, they plundered, they raped, the whole, terrible, barbaric thing. And so at that point, the Jews that were there, according to history, they scattered. So some went into the east, and over 1 million of them went to the west, went into actually Africa, right? So 1 million Jews went into Africa. It would be pretty hard for them to escape, go into a place called Africa, where obviously you've seen National Geographic or, whatever other videos you've seen in Africa. Mostly the inhabitants there are what?
Black people?
Black, right, yeah, absolutely. And so that would be indicative of the people that were in Jerusalem at that time.
Yeah.
So when you said that because of geography, the people that were there, that more than likely they didn't look like this guy. The proof of the matter and the truth of the matter is, according just to actual geography and to history, that the people that were there spread everywhere, and over 1 million went into Africa. So there were actual people of color, dark color. And by the way, black is a byword, right? Shirt I got on, it's been faded a little bit. but it's black, right? You'd say that. I'm a dark brother. I'm from here, America. They would say I have all kind of words: colored, Negro, black, nigga. I mean, all kind of things. But even being a dark brother, I'm still not this color, right? Absolutely. So the people that left Jerusalem, they set in Western Africa predominantly. They had different customs than these other people that were in Africa, such as Egyptians, Ethiopians, Liberians. You could just go on and on. They had actual different customs. They would circumcise on the 8th day. They had Passover. They had all these other things, and I say religious practices, but actual biblical practices that they did that were completely different than so-called black people. Okay? So, pertaining to that, this is where the Bible comes in. So, you've heard, obviously, that how did let me ask you a question. How did the people get here, the Negroes in America?
Like how did those
Yeah.
The slave trade.
Slave trade, right? Yeah, it's not a trick question. It was So not by like cruise ship, not like you know what I mean.
No,
they won a
didn't
prize.
come over on Carnival.
Yeah, absolutely not. They didn't come on the love boat, right? It was the anti-love boat. It was actual, right? It was the hate boat. Matter of fact, the first boat to come here, right, in 1619, I believe. They have, I think you can Google it, in Virginia, West Virginia, was called the good ship Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, right? So that's how much Jesus Christ has been such an influence, and the Bible's been such an influence to certain people who actually thought about this character right here, right? So here's where the horns and everything comes in at.
Okay.
The horns and everything comes in at is that, so during slavery, the slave master would use a number of things. Of course, physical, manipulation and chastising and rebuke, but they had a lot of mental mind games too. What they did is they would read scriptures from this Bible, and they'd say scriptures that say, "Oh, slaves, obey your master, for his right in the Lord." Then they said God is white. Then they show pictures, okay, that look.
Wait, time out. The Bible says God is right?
No. But that's what they would say.
Okay.
Right. They would actually say, "Well, you couldn't read." They literally part of the whole mind game and the whole mental breakdown was to literally not only make you a servant, but to also take away any form of reading, writing, heritage that you had or you thought you had, right? And to leave you complete and make it a crime if you were to read. So if they told you that God was white, guess what you're going to do? You're going to believe it. If you disagreed, guess what? There's a number of ridiculous punishments to happen. You'd be beaten, you might be hung, you might be set on fire, you might be tarred and feathered. These are all crazy things that they did because they were in power at that time. So the whole reason why that happened in the first place is because the Hebrews in the Bible, the Jews and the Israelites, the Bible's called, the Lord called them his favorite people. He said he had a number of people. I don't know if you've ever seen like the Ten Commandments. You've seen that movie with Charlton Heston?
I've not seen the movie.
You never seen, but you heard about it. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, in that movie, he talks about let my people go, right? The story of Moses went to Pharaoh and says, let my people go. Who was his people? His people were Hebrew Israelites, right? Of course, in the movie, they didn't look anything like it, right? And right now, you got people that are in Jerusalem at this time that don't really resemble, they actually resemble this color. Maybe kind of your color, your pigment. I'm just going to be honest with you. Whether it's, and you're not, by the way, you're not white either.
At what point in time are you talking about?
What do you mean, right now?
No. At what point in time are you talking about the Israels in...
Oh, so I was just talking about Moses.
Okay.
I was just kind of talking about Moses. Right. So Moses, he was, to prove a point, he was sent by the Lord for his people. So there was many nations. There was Egyptians, there were Ethiopians, they were all in the earth. But once they left, the story is, according to the Bible, that he got these commandments and he gave them rules and regulations for what the Hebrew Israelites were to do and were to follow. They broke those laws, statutes, and commandments. Matter of fact, in the movie, or according to the scriptures also, they right away, they got out of the land of Egypt and they started getting back into Babylonian customs and all kind of other things, Egyptian customs. And they were like, listen, you got us in the wilderness somewhere. God came and freed us. Where's God now? We have nothing to eat. We're out struggle. We had it way better in Egypt and whatnot. So this went on and went on for a long time. And there's a prophecy. The prophecy said, if you don't return back my people who I loved back to my law, statutes, and commandments, I will take you into a place where you've never been before. And you'll be taken into slave ships, right? Now I'm going to prove that. Anything I say is just not, this is where the Bible is concerned. Let me get that scripture real quick for you. It's Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way wherefore I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Now when it says the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt, that word is Egyptos, which is Greek, means bondage or captivity. And it says, by ships, wherefore I spake unto you, and thou shalt see it no more again. Meaning that you're not going to see Israel anymore again. You're going to leave. And then you shall be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. The term bondmen, bondwomen means servants. Servants, slaves, that type of thing. Now, the so-called Negroes, this is history and this is part of the Bible, are the only people on the face of the earth to fit that description. It's not the people that are in Jerusalem right now that call themselves the Jews. They don't fit that description. Japanese, Chinese, Arabs, they certainly don't fit that description. There was only one group of people, like you said, that came over on slave ships to a place that they've never seen before, or actually any type of bondage on slave ships. It was the so-called Negroes. Do you know of another people, just out of the Bible, just your knowledge and history, going to school, that fit that description?
It sounds to me like the Bible's talking about the Israelis.
Well, first of all, Israeli, when you put a suffix at the end, Israeli, it means pertaining to, or Jewish. The people that call them
the Jewish people with Moses,
yeah,
who left Egypt.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like the Bible's talking about them going back to Egypt to become slaves.
No, this is afterwards. So this is Deuteronomy, right? So this would be the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. It's called the law. It's called the Torah. So people with those
book that's written specifically to the Jewish people.
To the Jews. Jewish. Remember, ish is the suffix, means pertaining to.
To the Jews, whatever makes you feel good.
No, it's not. It's just
written to the Jews.
Yeah.
Saying this is your law as a Jew.
Absolutely.
And this is what will happen to you as a Jew if you don't follow these laws.
Right.
So it sounds to me like it's saying to the Jews.
To the Jews, that you should go.
Then you will get in ships and you will be sold to your enemies.
That's correct, and that's exactly what I just said. So there's no difference. I think
I'm confused. Are you saying that the Jews were black people?
Oh, now we're getting to some actual, this is the whole point. The whole point. No, I know. So the whole point is that not all the Jews were so-called blacks. Just remember, black is a byword, right?
Yep.
Oh, so let me
say black.
I know what you mean, and I usually say so-called. So if I call you white, I'll say so-called white.
You can call me white, and
no. But you're not, because the color of your styrofoam cup is white or off-white. You're more of a, what would you call yourself? Kind of a
human,
red.
Man,
no,
like, I don't care.
First of all, human is.
I don't know. What's tan-ish, whitish, lightest. I don't know. Like, it doesn't matter.
No, I know it doesn't matter to you, but let me just explain something.
Point being, like I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say.
I know, and I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there. And my 5 minutes is just about up, so I'm trying to wrap it up with you. All right.
Okay.
So here's the deal. The deal is that what I'm saying is that not all the Jews had a very, very dark complexion.
Fair enough.
A lot of them, right?